Hello everyone. This video will hopefully serve as both a guide for the dungeon itself as well as a guide on tanking strategies. I've been running this dungeon for the past few days, trying different strategies and builds while learning the mechanics, so I'll share with you what I think is best. For gear, I'm using the flail and hammer for my main weapons, swapping the hatchet on bosses for extra DPS. Wearing full heavy armor and using the stalwart stoneform heart rune as it provides CC immunity as well as some overtime healing. All of my gear and skill trees will be shown at the end of the video if you're curious.
I got the thing, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna try to buy us time opening those doors ahead of time.
As for attributes, I'm going with 350 con and the rest into strength. Having damage reduction while grit is active is huge for our survivability, especially when you're getting knocked around by the mobs in this dungeon. For example, this pull with these chameleons can be extremely dangerous if you get comboed 3 or 4 times. For this, I run to the respawn shrine and hold them there, popping my stone form if I need to drop my shield to aggro the mobs. These guys have wide sweeping AoE attacks, so you need to make sure they're facing away from your DPS as they will get one shot. If possible, try not to pull all 3 chameleons, but you do need to kill all of them if you want the gatherable they're guarding for those extra points. For this next pull, we walk just close enough to aggro the monkey and we will fight him on this main platform. Try not to stand too close to the edge or he can easily knock you off, which causes problems. As you can see, the mobs in this dungeon can be very weird with aggro, as I did taunt him here but he still ran at my teammate, which killed him. Just try and make sure you're holding aggro. I like using hammer in this dungeon because you can basically stun lock a lot of these mobs using shockwave, clear out, and wrecking ball while keeping aggro. I'll just say now that this is not the best run we had, even though it was still gold in the end. I ran with these guys a few times and our first run was our best, which I didn't expect, so I didn't record it. However, since I did the exact same pulls every time, I think it still serves as a valid guide. The best run we had only had a few deaths and no wipes. We do wipe on the final boss in this run, but we pulled it together for the second try.
We keep missing the brimstone over here, boys. We can't afford that. Master, I think there's another brimstone out there, bro, in the back. I don't know if we grab. go back right now if you want to go grab it. That's a lot of points. We'll just do this slowly. When we're in that spot, go to that side and just hover over the plateau so we can enable the boss or open the door, and then just go grab the brimstone now. Oh shit, let's have him facing one side. Yep, try to pick us up. Or make him go sleep and then try to pick us up. Yup.
These lizard enemies can be somewhat difficult as they are very large and can easily move you around if you're standing to their side. The same goes for the mammoths later on. You want to be standing directly in front of them and move backwards if you need to move.
I grabbed him. Go, go, go. No, full dead, dude.
Now we're coming up on the first boss. As I said before, I'll switch to Hatchet so I can use Rending Throw and Infected Throw for more debuffs, as well as attack from a distance if I need to. You can use almost any secondary here, such as Spear, Void Gauntlet, Sword, or Hammer. As for the boss's mechanics, there are 4 altars spread out across the arena. They correspond either lightning, fire, ice, or earth. The boss will leap to one of these altars and absorb its element, which changes his moveset. Each element of his will have 2 quote-unquote unique moves. One of these unique moves is similar across all 4 elements. It's a simple jump where the boss will target the player who's furthest away from him and jump at them, dealing damage and stunning the player if hit. The other unique move is different for each element. For fire, he conjures waves of fire that must be dodged. For earth, he throws boulders that deal damage. For lightning, he throws a ball of lightning that bounces off a wall and travels around dealing damage. For ice, he claps his hands and shoots forward an ice spike which cannot be blocked. While the boss fight is going on, he will be building stacks of whichever element he has absorbed, increasing his damage. Once the boss has performed 2 unique moves, he will be at around 5 or 6 stacks, and his altar will be available to be taken. A player can walk up and interact with the altar to lock this element. The boss will lose all stacks of this element and be stunned for a brief period of time before jumping to a new altar and absorbing its element. When an altar is taken, a damaging circle of that element will start appearing on the ground, chasing players and dealing damage to them. However, the player that took that altar will have a small circle under them of that same element, and they can walk into the damaged circle to make them disappear for a while. It is important that these circles get taken care of, as they can be annoying when trying to dodge mechanics. It is also important to note that if a player has already taken an altar, they cannot interact with another altar. I would therefore suggest that your group either has an order of which players will grab the altars first, or have an element assigned to each player so they know which altar they need to grab. It is important that the altars are grabbed because when the boss reaches 10 stacks in that element, he will do a massive AoE attack that hits the whole arena, dealing large damage to all players.
Fuck.
As a tank, I like to keep the boss about halfway between the middle of the arena and the wall. This gives enough room to move around if needed, as well as give the player who's furthest away time to react to the leaps.
Someone grab lightning.
Once all 4 altars are taken, the boss will absorb the void element. At this point, all 4 damaging circles will be able to be spawned, which can deal massive damage if they are all on the same player. When the boss absorbs void, he will begin stacking this element infinitely until killed. As such, applying weaken can be crucial for this part if your team has lower DPS. His unique moves also change for this phase. He has a void clap, which is similar to the ice clap except it does a lot more damage, and he can throw a black hole at the player who's furthest away, which will suck players in and deal massive damage if they get too close. Ironically, this may be the easiest phase. As long as your groupmates are all taking care of their damage circles on the ground, his unique moves are fairly easy to dodge, and you can whittle him down. Next we drop down low here to kill these 4 flower enemies in order to get the bonus for mob count. You can still get gold without getting mob count, but it acts as a safety net if you wipe.
fucking kept DC'd. Keep going, just keep going, keep going. Fine.
When someone grabs this orb, it will spawn 2 chameleons and 2 gorillas that block the exit. Make sure you have stone form ready to pop if you're getting stun locked.
Focus on DPS, just focus on. I'm bringing one, I'm bringing one. Fuck. Yeah, we don't. It's just those extra points. Okay, go, 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 go. All good, dude.
For this next part with the 2 named gorillas, I prefer to just keep them close and attack them both at the same time. If you're holding aggro, they don't do a whole ton of damage, and if they get too far away, they will just start throwing rocks at you, so we try and keep them together and burst them down. As you can see from this run, I had a few slip-ups which led to DPS full dying and us losing points. The mobs here do a lot of damage in a wide area which can lead to DPS players dying, so just try and keep them safe.
Yeah, these fuckers have like AoE or something, huh? You're doing a whole 360 fucking tongue slap. Oh, the monkeys. Respect, boys, respect. Go, 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 go. Yup.
Now for the final boss. Once again I go Hatchet for some extra range damage. This boss is very similar to the first one in that he deals damage with multiple elements. The boss has a large floating crystal above his head that will flash different colors depending on which attack he is going to use. He can fire meteors at players, fire laser beams, shoot void orbs at players, spawn an ice storm on a player, and cast chain lightning on players. As such, learning these mechanics and how to dodge them is critical for this fight. Now let's talk about the main mechanic here, the conduits. Every 20 seconds or so the boss will spawn a conduit on a player. These conduits enhance one of the boss's abilities. A blazing conduit will enhance his meteor attack, firing 3 meteors at all players instead of just 1. A frigid conduit will make his ice storm have a much larger radius and deal more damage. A charged conduit will enhance his chain lightning. An arcane conduit will make his targeted laser beam deal more damage. A hollow conduit will enhance his void orbs. As soon as a conduit is spawned, the attack associated with the conduit will immediately activate. It is important for DPS players to burst the conduits down, as his enhanced abilities deal massive damage if not dealt with. When a conduit is destroyed, the boss will take around 2 to 3% of his max health as damage, so it is not necessarily a loss of overall DPS. As a tank, you want to keep the boss in a spot where all of your teammates can see him in case he turns around and charges at them. I recommend trying to dodge at least his large slam and his trunk slam, as they can easily stamina break you. If the boss is attacking you while also casting one of his abilities, you can easily get stun locked and die, so it is important that you don't get exhausted during this fight. Now let's talk about dodging each of his abilities. For the arcane laser, you can either block it with your weapon, stand behind a conduit, or dodge away from it. Be careful about stamina management though. If you run out, the laser will deal massive damage. For the meteors, you can block them, but I just recommend dodging. If you don't have stamina to block or dodge, you can juke them as they are sent to the location you were heading when he cast it. For the chain lightning, it is pretty much impossible to dodge, but if you can, try and stand away from your teammates to avoid taking damage. For the ice storm, there is a delay between the indication of the storm spawning and the actual storm, so you can use this time to dodge away. It doesn't do a lot of damage per tick, just don't stand in it unless you're the tank. For the void orbs, they're similar to the fireballs, except much weaker. As I said earlier, we wiped on this attempt. It can be a lot to manage when trying to avoid mechanics as well as taking out the conduits. If needed, your DPS can spec into more con to avoid getting one-shot by meteors or lasers. Playing safe and just destroying conduits is a valid strategy even if it is a little slower.
Yeah.
I hope this guide was at least somewhat helpful, whether you're trying for an M3 gold yourself or just trying to learn the mechanics of this dungeon for the first time. In any case, thank you for watching and let me know if you have any questions.